boy, do we have a game for you today. Oh boy, do we have a game for you today. Oh, it's playoffs, baby. Not only is it the quarterfinal of the APDL Season 2, but I'm calling this one the Battle for Bite Speed. Our quarterfinal opponent is none other than measly Peyton, coach of the Kindred Kingdras. You know who I am. If you don't know who I am by now, go watch some other videos. My name's Josh. We have a couple of surprises for you, starting with a brand new team preview layout. I don't know. I got bored with the old one. This one I think is just, it's cooler, it's cleaner. I'm loving it so far. So first up with the team preview and our playoff quarterfinal team. We're going Garchomp, obviously. I don't think there's ever been a week where I haven't loved just what potential this thing brings. And the thing about Peyton's team is if I bring rain, I'm screwed. So instead, we're going a little different route. He's got some extremely scary threats. Hawlucha was something that I was preparing for in a number of different ways, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first on the chomping block, see what I did there? Is Garchomp, the Siegfried, our tier 1 team captain, whatever you want to call him. We're running Life Orb, Rough Skin, Jolly this week. And we're kind of, when I thought about what I wanted to do for Garchomp, it kind of came down to this. We've done some cute things this season, doing, a little bit tanky Chomp, some special offense mixed in there. And I just kind of said, you know what? It's playoffs. It's time to put your big boy panties on and go full offensive. Let's go. I am running Stealth Rock because that's a key plan for killing the Hawlucha. However, we're going Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Swords Dance, and we're just going to set up and go. 252 attack, 4 in special defense, and 252 in speed. We're trying to kill people with this thing. All right. On to number 2. Conkeldurr, Spartacus. Flame Orb, Guts, Adamant. Again, no cutesy stuff. We're not doing Iron Fist. We're not doing Drain Punch. We're just killing things. Close Combat, Mach Punch, Facade, Knockoff. Mach Punch is especially important this week because there are a number of circumstances where I need to kill Hawlucha with priority when he's got 10 to 14% health left. Mach Punch is part of that puzzle to kind of make sure that we kill the damn thing. 248 in HP, 252 in attack, 8 in special defense. Conkeldurr is more offense than I know what to do with. Moving into the defensive part of the lineup, we're bringing Arcanine and we're going max defense on the physical side. Peyton has a number of special attackers, but I've got answers for those in Sylveon and Lantern that you'll see. We need Arcanine as a counter to Hawlucha and to Obstagoon. That is its job, and it does it surprisingly well. We're running Rocky Helmet to absorb and do a little chip damage. Intimidate's great against those 2 mons. Psychic Fangs is there specifically to get rid of screens from Indeedee because I know they're coming. Burn Up is cute. Gets rid of my fighting typing, or my fire typing, excuse me. And that lets me potentially live something from like a non-invested Primarina or something weird like that. Or, the Burn Up is cute. It's base 130 fire type move. It's just good. And we actually get the rare burned fire type in the game, and you'll see that after that happens. Close combat is stupid good against Obstagoon. Like, just very, very good in that matchup. And then Morning Sun gives us a little bit more longevity. We don't have Toxic. We don't have Will-O-Wisp. We're here to intimidate, punch, Morning Sun, get out. 248 HP, 8 in attack just to help out with that Psychic Fangs and the close combat. And then 252 in defense. Like I said, lax nature. We don't want to stay in on anything special. Number 3, the answer to those special attackers is my boy Astolfo. I guess my girl Astolfo. Leftovers, Pixelate, Calm Nature, nothing funny here. Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball for the potential to get special defense drops. It's also good against Indeedee. Wish and Protect for longevity and just the stall ability, just to kind of win prolonged 1v1s. 252 HP, 4 in special attack, and the rest in special defense. This little thing is like my diamond in the rough of many diamond in the roughs on the lower half of my team. Astolfo's great. Sylveon's an important piece of the puzzle this week. It's there to 1v1 his special threats and try and survive. Next up, Lantern. I think the best free agent move we made all year. This thing is fat. This is a fat fish. And we've got some weird investment going on, but that is by design. Leftovers, Water Absorb, because I think, and doing a little mind games, I prepared for Primarina and Seismitoad to be a big part of his lineup, because he's going to think that I'm going to bring Rain. I'm not going to bring Rain because I'm not giving Seismitoad Swift Swim. That's a death sentence. But we have Water Absorb to kind of soak up liquidations, or basically turns the matchup into Primarina into something that I can live and then get out with Volt Switch and do some decent damage. Speaking of the moveset, we are Bold Nature, and then we're running Scald, Volt Switch, Toxic, and Protect. This thing with 40 HP and 252 defense, we live a +2 acrobatics from Hawlucha on 1%. If it's a max roll. We cannot get one shot by anything on his team. It's very close. I'm going to have like 0 HP left. But we live everything that I can think of on the physical side, and then I can Volt Switch out and get into Arcanine to intimidate and do some things like that. So the 40 HP just gives me that extra bump in HP, max defense, and then the rest of it's in special defense. So this is kind of a wall on both sides. More so on the physical side, but it can take special hits depending on who's attacking it. And then our other, my favorite Mon of the week, and the core play around for Hawlucha, Focus Sashed, Compound Eyes, Timid Nature, Galvantula. We need the speed and the max special attack to be 1 point faster than Indeedee at max speed. And it is a roll after rocks to kill with Bug Buzz. I know there's a lot of moving parts with the sentence that I just said, but if I get rocks up with Garchomp, which is the plan, Indeedee switches in, or I get Indeedee versus Galvantula, I am going to be 1 point faster, unless it's Scarfed, which why in the hell would you Scarf an Indeedee? I am 1 point faster than max speed Indeedee, and I can kill after rocks with Bug Buzz. Energy Ball is there for Primarina and Seismitoad. It destroys the Toad. Volt Switch is my electric type move that I'm using for Hawlucha and the other things. And then I brought Sticky Web just in case I can get some speed control down later in the game. The priority for hazards is rocks, because it helps me one-shot things with some of the lesser offensive mons that I have. And helps kind of piece together the puzzle of like, how in the hell do I kill a Hawlucha? This, especially the Focus Sash, Volt Switch kills if I do like 20-ish%. So rocks helps immensely with that. And then if I do volt switch out, get it way down to like, 5% or whatever, say it's a low roll and I don't kill, then I volt switch out after getting my sash broken. I'm at 1 HP, I swap out, Kindred comes in, mock punches to victory, and we kill the Hawlucha with like 3 different steps. Rocks from Garchomp, volt switch from Galvantula, and then mock punch from Kindred. Do you see how hard I tunneled on Hawlucha? 40 defense, which is just where the leftover points went. It doesn't necessarily give me an edge, but it does help in some scenarios. 252 in special attack, 216 in speed. I any more investment than 216 in speed is just kind of wasted EVs, because I'm going to be slower than anything that he scarfs at max speed. So like, what's the point? I threw it in defense. Maybe I can live or take a hit from, Regieleki's rapid spin or something a little better. I don't know. That was just kind of, hey, there's extra points, let's put them here. Okay, let's get into the game. You guys can't see the showdown deal, but let's do this and we'll get it up here for you. So, our team, like we said, Garchomp, Kindred, Arcanine, Sylveon, Lantern, Galvantula. Peyton Broad, Weezing, which I did not prep for. Regieleki, which I didn't prepare for necessarily, but like Lantern can live an explosion on like 40%, so we're fine. Hawlucha, which we tunnel visioned on so hard. Primarina, which I figured he'd bring. The Indeedee knew he would bring. Obstagoon, I definitely had to prepare for, because it's just a giant threat. So I figured Seismitoad would be in the lineup, but I understand if he thought that he was going to bring Rain counter, so I didn't bring Rain counter, and now all of a sudden we're doing the Hikaru like chess and scenarios in my brain. It's too much. Here's the team. Here's my team. Score 6-6. Let's get into it. Let's turn the music off so I don't blow your eardrums out. And now, looking at the team, like I said, the play was to get rocks up with Garchomp. So we're leading Garchomp, and we'll go from there. He leads the Indeedee, which in practice, I had 2 different openings. We had the Garchomp opening where we go for rocks right away, and we had the Galvantula opening where it was Galvantula and Indeedee to start the game, and I used Bug Buzz and did almost enough to kill him. We get this scenario, and I'm like, okay, let's just see what happens here. And he switches out, and I go for my rocks. I figure, it's as good a turn as any to get rocks up and then get out, because I'm not living a Moonblast. He's able to hit me, hit my Sylveon on the switch in, gets the special attack drop right away, which is fine. It's fine. I'm not built to do a bunch of damage. I mean, I'm gonna do enough damage to win long term with Wish and Protect, but the special attack drop kind of sucks for just like my side of the fight. It just means it's gonna take longer. But it's weird because I'm looking at like the damage that this Primarina did, and I'm calculating for worst case scenario. So I'm calculating for a Specs Primarina, and it's not doing nearly the damage it was supposed to. So I'm like, well, maybe he's scarfed. So I'm just going to fire off a Shadow Ball and see if I can get a special defense drop, try and do a little bit here. We get into a scenario where I need to Wish Protect, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth. And he switches to Ice Beam. So now I know he's not choiced, and I'm like, what in the world is this thing's item? And I don't think I ever actually figured it out. We're going back and forth. I'm Wish Protecting, I'm getting up, and he goes for a Shadow Ball, gets the special defense drop, and now I'm like, crap. I don't like where this is headed. So I'm going to switch out into Lantern, which is also my other kind of specially bulky mon. I've got a ton of HP, so I can take hits. And if he's going to use Ice Beam or Shadow Ball, it's not going to do a ton. I have Water Absorb, so Scald or Hydro Pump doesn't work, and a Moonblast is going to do 30-ish%. But the main goal here is thinking long term of like, I know Sylveon can beat this thing 1v1 if it comes down to it, but I would really like to get some Toxic off on this thing to help that down the road. So he's going to go for Shadow Ball. It's going to do 21%. Easy. We're eating it up. And he switches out on my Toxic. So I Toxic the Regieleki, which is cool. And now I'm in a weird spot, right? Because Regieleki is super frail, and Scald is actually doing like 40% damage, 45%. I'm like, that's a 2-hit kill, and it's Toxic. What is this thing going to do to me? Rapid Spin does 0 damage. An Explosion does like at max like 55%. It's laughable how fat this fish is. So I'm really comfortable, but I don't want to get hit with like if by some reason this thing is like special Regieleki and it goes for like a Thunderbolt or something, or a Volt Switch. I don't really want to play that game. So I switch out into Arcanine. We get the Intimidate drop, which helps me live his attacks even more, in calcing with the Adamant max attack Regieleki set that people normally run. So he gets rid of my rocks, which is important because now the Hawlucha strategy that I had before, I won't be able to kill straight up with Volt Switch if it's, just Galvantula versus Hawlucha, especially if it's +1 special defense. So that is a small problem, but we have contingencies to deal with it. So rocks are gone. I'm feeling really good, and I think he's going to go screens. So I go for Psychic Fangs, and he switches into Weezing. We do good damage to the Weezing. It's super effective. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't just get like a free Psychic Fangs and like crash the screens right away and have like a dead turn for the Regieleki. But this is good, right? I'm in against a Weezing. Sludge Bomb is going to do like 35% on a max roll. So I'm feeling okay as far as like where I'm at game-wise and how things are going. I want to make sure that I preserve Arcanine because it's an important piece for countering the Hawlucha. But I see kind of a potential to kill here. So I just click Burn Up because we did 64% and it seemed like a really good hit. It was going to hit anything on his team pretty hard except for the Primarina. So I felt pretty comfortable going for it. Got rid of my fire typing. And he actually goes for the Sludge Bomb. That does fine damage. And then I thought he was going to switch. I thought he was like, I need to preserve Weezing for somehow for later. Or, maybe he was going to... I don't know. I figured he thought that I was going to go for Psychic Fangs again because it's super effective and it kills from that range. Obstagoon doesn't get affected by Psychic Fangs, so I figured he would switch in and try and get like a free switch to Obstagoon, get his Guts boost up, and then be sitting, Obstagoon at its normal attack stat against my Arcanine. So I went for Close Combat because that does a lot of damage to Obstagoon. It does 9% to Weezing. So a little bit unfortunate there. And now we're defensive down, and we get the most unique thing ever. We have a burned fire type after his Will-O-Wisp, which is cool. It hampers my offensive ability, but Arcanine's not really here to get kills. It's here to intimidate and do stuff like that. So kind of funny that we were able to get the burned fire type, but that's just kind of how that goes. And now actually I can't kill the Weezing with Psychic Fangs with the burn. It's doing like just like, I think it was like 15% with the burn. So I can't kill it. So I switch into Conkeldurr thinking like, okay, well, if he goes for Sludge Bomb and I get poisoned, or if he goes for Will-O-Wisp again on a switch, that's fine because I'm Guts and I want to get my Guts boost up. So he actually switches. And we do a double switch, and he goes in DD, and I go Kindred. And here's an interesting spot. Kindred's slow, right? And I have no idea what this in DD is invested-wise. Expanding Force will kill me like 200% some damage. Facade kills this thing in one hit, no problem. I figured that he would go for like a Reflect or some other type of setup move rather than just like, you know, hey, I'm going to go all in with an Expanding Force on this Kindred and try and get a kill. Well, spoilers. He does just that and I die. I die hard. So now, if you're keeping track at home, it's 6-5, and I just threw away my Kindred because I didn't think that, you know, hey, Indeedee's faster than you, and even though it says 170% damage on my side, it says 214% damage on his side. So there's really no bad play for him there. If I switch, he gets an Expanding Force off on something, that's great. That's going to do a lot of damage. So my big offensive threat, my max attack, max HP, Mach Punch to help deal with Hawlucha, gone. Just gone. And I'm like, shit. I'm panicking at this point. Because I just threw away one of my biggest offensive threats. I'm like, well, even if I can kill the Hawlucha, how much damage is it going to do to my team? Am I going to even be able to get kills after I deal with it? Because I can still deal with it. But that's a different problem for a different kind of day. So I go into Galvantula now because, one, I have the Scarf, or the Sash, sorry. And like Bug Buzz is doing a lot to this thing. There are roles depending on investment. If he's not defensive, a Bug Buzz can kill. It is close. I'm going out there to see what happens. Luckily, he switches, and the Bug Buzz rips through the Obstagoon. And all of a sudden, the blunder that I had with the Kindred is pretty much offset by that. Goes into a DD again. I get a big hit off. Do the darn thing. Get the special defense drop. Do 74% damage, which is great. And now I'm starting to feel okay. I know I'm faster than this thing because we calced it that way. I expect to get hit with an Expanding Force here and break my Sash. But he actually goes for the light screen. And now, like, I immediately get like a cold sweat. And I'm like, oh no. He just set up a light screen for his Hawlucha that's going to get +1 special defense when it switches in because of Psychic Seed. Oh no. So, he does just that. Hawlucha comes in. Hi, Bug Buzz. %5 damage. It's great. It is a free attack. And now I have to make a decision. He is faster than me. Because his Unburdened procs, and he's got like 670 speed. It's going to be faster than everything on my team. The advantage I have here is that I kind of know what he's going to go for, and I know kind of the setup pattern. So, my answer this, for me to be able to kill this thing the way that I have worked it out, is to get Arcanine in, Psychic Fangs away the light screen, do a little bit more chip damage to this thing. You know, Rocky Helmet gets me very, very close. And then my Sash actually will save my ass. I will be able to kill this thing with a Volt Switch in a little bit. So, I'm just going to let this play out here. Psychic Terrain goes away. Awesome. We get the Intimidate. He subs. I can go for a Psychic Fangs here. Actually, okay, so pause. At -1, close combat and acrobatics from that Hawlucha are doing very little damage to me. To where even at +1 now, with his Swords Dance boost, he's still not doing a ton. I mean, it's getting close to like the 50% range. But I'm sitting okay. So I figured Morning Sun to be able to heal up so that I can live potentially 2 hits. Or I can, you know, be able to Psychic Fangs next turn, break the sub, get rid of the screens. And there was a reason why, a very well thought out reason why with the calcs of why I went for Morning Sun there instead of just immediately going for the Psychic Fangs. I do that now though. He got greedy and went for another Swords Dance, which I respect because I mean, he had to, right? Because like at +1 he's not killing Arcanine, but at +3 he will. That lets me Psychic Fangs though. And now I'm thinking, okay, he's at +3. Everything on my team dies to an acrobatics or close combat. But he's at 70% HP, which is well within the margin that I needed for a Volt Switch to kill it. And he's going to take Rocky Helmet damage when he attacks the Arcanine. So I figured this is the point where we let Iskandar go down. He gets the defense drop and the Rocky Helmet damage. It is 5-4, but now we have the Sash to come in. Galvantula comes in, acrobatics. We go all the way down, Volt Switch. We deal with the biggest threat he has on the team. Quite honestly, like the biggest, scariest threat he has, we did it. And I still have Garchomp, and I still have my 2 big, fat, special, and physical walls. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point. He's still got a Primarina that I have no idea what it is. He still has a Regieleki that can just go boom at any minute. And we've seen indeed he can just kill things, so I have to still play careful because we're not out of the woods yet. A free switch in to Garchomp, I'm going to take every time. And here's where, Peyton, you got me. You got me good. This Primarina is at 79%. An offensive Primarina dies to an Earthquake, just straight up. It does 90 to like 114% damage. So it's a pretty good chunk that I'm going to, I mean, a guaranteed kill if it's offensive. This thing's not offensive. It's fat. And it lived an Earthquake. Took 75%. Which means Garchomp's gonna die. Now all of a sudden that nice comfortable lead that I had, or in my brain that I had, it's gone. I have a Galvantula with 1 HP. I have a Sylveon that's especially bulky, and I have a Lantern that's physically bulky, neither of which have the offensive power to tear through on some of these mons. Galvantula does, and it's faster than everything but the Regieleki, so we're going to bring it in. I'm 1 point faster than max speed Indeedee. We know the Primarina is not scarfed, so it can't be faster than me. Weezing's at very low HP at this point, and I'm going to be faster there. So I feel very safe in going for a Volt Switch. So we get the kill on Weezing, and it's 3-3. still have to play very, very careful. But we get Lantern in with leftovers to be able to go up to 97%. And if you remember, I am stupid bulky on the physical side, and from what we've seen, the Regieleki has rapid spin. We don't really know what it's got. He goes into Indeedee and sets up a light screen when I go for Toxic. I wasn't sure what this thing was going to do. I could have gone for a Volt Switch or a Scald, but I wasn't going to kill an Indeedee. I don't think. Especially with like Psychic Terrain up. I wasn't comfortable going for it, so I'm thinking, okay, if I go for Toxic, that's great. If it's got some recovery move that I don't know, but it just goes for Light Screen. So we're feeling good. I go for Protect here because I want to see what the hell he's going to do. Healing Wish. Uh-oh. We're up 3-2. But now he's got a light screen and a Primarina at full health. And I still have no idea what this thing's item is. Well played, Peyton. However, the good news for me is if you remember back at the very beginning of this game, when I said that if it came down to it, Sylveon can 1v1 this thing. It's just going to take a long time. This is the scenario we're in. To help with that, I need to burn the light screen turns. I've got Protect on 2 Mons. It's a little stally, but that's what I brought him for. Toxic also helps big time in the longevity of this fight. He makes a swap. I go for a Protect, just trying to get more leftovers, toxic damage. Again, Protect just to stall out turns on the light screen. He tries to go for a Volt Switch, trying to switch things around. And now I go into Sylveon because he's using Volt Switch, and I know I'm not going to die. And I know I can Wish in front of either of them and start to heal, and the toxic damage is going to start carrying away. So we're going to Protect. We're going to stall out 2 more turns of light screen. We're going to get a Wish up. We're going to just live these Shadow Balls and pray we don't get a special defense drop. We do have some switches if we need to. And this is a winning fight for me. We do get a Shadow Ball kill coming down on the Regieleki. And from there, it's going to be a win, actually, for the Fargo Flygons, as the toxic damage from Lantern ends up getting the kill on the Primarina. And we get a 3-0 victory in the first round of playoffs, baby! Oh, Peyton made me work for it, you guys. Like, well freaking done to the Kindred Kingdras on a fantastic season and a awesome quarterfinal game. It's single elim, so Peyton's done, but man, I was like sweating bullets from like turn 1. This game was only 35 turns, so not the hour-long marathon that Colin and Quincy had to play. We'll get to that in a second. But just like a really solid game, a really fun game. I blundered away a Conkeldurr, which, oh god, just not good. But in the grand scheme of things, I think we prepared extremely well. We knew what the threat was, and I brought multiple scenarios through my team to be able to beat it. So, awesome to get a playoff win without Kingdra and Pelipper. I hope I maybe get to use them in the coming games. But who knows? as we can see, I can get the job done without it. And that's exciting because that makes me harder to prep for. If you look at this squad, like, I think that's some of the best team building I've done all year. And I'm excited to see what we can do against Quincy. So here's your playoff picture, right? The wild card rounds were nuts. Okay. Quincy ends up beating Dylan. Then goes and beats Colin, who is 6-1 in the regular season, stomping people with Snorlax. And Quincy brought Haze Blastoise to save the day. And Clear Smogamungus to stall it out. But Quincy and I played in week 1. And it was a very narrow win for me. And, that dude preps so well. And it's going to be so fun to get that rematch now that we're in the semifinals. So Quincy is our next opponent here. I assume we're going to play on Sunday. So we've got 5 days to prep and try and prepare for the dude who brought the dragon reducing berry to live a Draco Meteor from my Kingdra on his Latios. So talk about weird prep scenarios. That's one of them. The team that I have now is extremely harder to prepare for than what I had in week 1. I've got good stuff from top to bottom, which I think will make it harder, but Quincy's so good and he's playing well at the right time. So that's going to be a very difficult semifinal. And then on the other side of the bracket, Noah lost to DJ. So not only did we have the number 1 seed, 7-0 Jamestown Judgment, go down to a wild card team, you had the number 2, because technically Colin's tiebreaker was better than mine, or we tied or something like that, but Colin was number 2 at the end of the season. So the number 2 team lost to a wild card team. We haven't heard the score of the Canadian Clash yet, so I'm really hoping that game gets played because it'll be DJ against whichever Canadian squeaks out a win there. And the dream scenario for my playoff run is still alive. I love Garrett with all my heart, but I would love... Perfect scenario is this game against Quincy is just like a rock star battle. I'm hoping I can get a victory, and then the perfect like season end cap would be me versus Sean, our rival, in the championship game. We have an extremely tough game to get there. I'm not even going to think about Sean or Garrett or DJ until I absolutely have to. The next step in our playoff push is to prepare for Quincy and the bug catchers, and that's all we care about for the next 5 days. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your support. Go Flygons. Good luck to the other teams that are still in playoffs. Well done to everybody that is done with their season. This has been wild. Having so much fun. And we'll see you next time.